What's up, everybody? It is your boy back in full effect on Diablo Immortal. That is my game of choice these days. Uh, Apologize for the brief retirement from making content in general. Had a lot of things going on in real life, and those things kind of cleared themselves up. So we're back. I'm gonna go hard on YouTube. We're not really gonna focus on Twitch too much, just because that's a lot of work that is frankly just kind of, we kind of spin our wheels over there. We're gonna try to do maybe one or two streams a month over there to start out, but I really want to try to get to like 2 videos a week here on Diablo Immortal, maybe possibly even adding a third in on Raid or something like that, because I do still play Raid and I do enjoy Raid. So we'll kind of go from there. As you can kind of see, we are in my armory in Diablo Immortal. We are on my Barb account. I am after the skill, after the patch here where we were allowed to change our classes. We saw a mass exodus from the Barb class. A lot of Barbs went to Demon Hunter, a lot of Barbs went to Crusader. That's just the nature of the beast. The Barb, we are an AoE damage dealer early on. We're very good in PvP. And then when it comes to late game dungeons, shadow wars, and things like that, we are just a buffer. And the Crusader does better buffs. The Demon Hunter does better damage. So it's kind of like, which do you want to do? The Barb does both okay, but not at those levels. So a lot of people left to go either way. I stuck around. I'm enjoying playing a Barb still, so we'll kind of go through that. I may change at some point. We do have we can swap back pretty frequently, so it's not a big deal. Just gonna kind of go over my gear that we have. I'm going to show you my farming setup. I have a video set up ready to go, showing one of the places that I like to farm. It's not really somewhere that is super crowded. It's not really somewhere that gets over farmed a lot, but it's not exactly like, that god tier, spot where you're just gonna crush Paragon levels and cruise, right? It's more of an overworld. We're gonna kind of crisscross the spot. It's like that backup spot. It's your safety spot, basically, right? We're gonna go over these 6 pieces of gear and my charm. We'll go ahead and go over all this stuff as well. So we'll just start out here with the Helm. Lasting Hate. For a Barb, Lasting Hate allows Wrath of the Berserker to be increase the duration by 30%, which is actually really significant. It allows our damage to go up with Wrath of the Berserker, which incidentally is this skill right here. We go into our rage, gives us 50% movement speed and 50% attack speed and 20% movement speed for 6.3 seconds. So it's like going Super Saiyan for 6 seconds, and we can go crazy, do more damage, move faster, and all that kind of stuff, right? This allows that to go a little bit longer. Our chest piece is Davin's Legacy. And what that does is it allows us to charge up our Hammer of the Ancients skill one more time. So instead of having 1 shot with our hammer, we have 2, and that is this skill right here. Call forth a massive hammer which smashes enemies in front of you for 5,700 attack damage here. Shakes the ground itself, dealing an additional 1152 over 2 seconds. So we get that initial big beefy hit with the 5k damage, and then after that we get after effect damage for 2 seconds up to 1100 damage, which is really nice. All right, we'll just kind of snake it around here. So we're going to go with our pants. Screaming Fury. Screaming Fury allows our ferocious charge to now charge from point A to point B, and when we get to point B, we do a stun and it knocks everybody up in the air. I like to chain that with our Hammer of the Ancients. It's actually the way I do it, and I'll show it off in the next video, but basically I pop a Wrath of the Berserker. I do a Furious Charge, go in, stun them. While they're still in the air, I hit Hammer of the Ancients because we can hit them back down out of the air. We do a lot of damage that way, and these are both AoE skills. So we're going to do area of effect damage right there on each mob when we're farming. And Furious Charge also, because of just the nature we're going from point A to point B really fast, it allows us to get to mobs and go from mob to mob when we're farming really quickly. Now, the actual skill itself, we charge forward, knocking all enemies in our path, dealing 5k damage. Maximum of 3 charges. We'll get to that later. When we are in PvP, it can only affect players once every 3 seconds, just to kind of, otherwise we would be, you know, even more hated in PvP. Barbs are the most hated in PvP, I think, because of a couple of our skills that we have give us qualified immunity, if you will, right? We'll snake over here, Coming Storm. This is our shoulder piece. This one here also affects our Wrath of the Berserker. Our cooldown is decreased by 15%, and then we get another 10% based on having an Awakened gem slot here. So we are actually getting an additional cooldown reduction here. So looks like we're getting about 25% cooldown reduction on our Wrath of the Berserker, which is it doesn't show the cooldown here, but it is actually a fairly decent as far, it's not too long, it's not too short, it's kind of a happy medium as far as how long it's up, so you can proc it quite often. Our main hand weapon, we use Eager Maelstrom. Eager Maelstrom affects our Whirlwind skill. It increases the radius of the damage that we do. However, while it increases the radius, we move slower. So we're not actually doing as many hits. However, we are going to be able to keep that whirlwind longer. So we're going to kind of, when it's smaller, we're going to do more hits, but when it's wider, we're going to move slower, but we're still going to go longer. So we're going to kind of do about the same amount of hits. So it kind of works out to being, you know, toss it up 50-50, whether you want to use this or not. Most people are going to use it just because you get that wider depth of damage, right? If you're not using this, you're going to be using something else like maybe the Maddening, which is going to just affect your speed while you're attacking and things like that. And while we're here, so Whirlwind, if you don't know, that's our spin to win, as a lot of people like to call it. We basically put our two weapons out and we just barb spin around. We do about 1500 damage. It's not a lot of damage. It's not a heavy hitting attack. However, the Whirlwind, especially in PvP, we have a different modifier piece that we can put on that sucks everybody in so they can't run away from us. Why we're hated again. So yeah, we are definitely one of the fun classes in PvP. But yeah, it doesn't do a ton of damage, so you don't really have to worry about that. Broken Soul affects our Hammer of the Ancients as well. Broken Soul is a really fun one for me. Wrath of the Berserker now increases the crit hit chance instead of attack speed. So instead of making us move faster, we're actually going to have a better chance to crit, which gives us a better chance to do damage. So that's something that I really enjoy with this. Now, also what we're going to go over here, the Mighty Charm. You can kind of see Wrath of the Berserker, we get an increase of 2% damage. Furious Charge, I should say, is an increase of 2% as well. Our Sprint, we get a 2% damage increase on that as well. We don't use Sprint in this. I don't use Sprint in this build specifically. When we go into our War build, you can see I do use our Sprint skill, and I do have, I believe it is, yeah, the Shoulders Hell's Legacy, which allows us to leave a trail of fire, which does damage, so we get an increase there. So just kind of a little heads up. I might do one of these kind of videos for PvP build and for the War build as well down the road, but this is kind of where we're at right now. So we do additional damage there. Whirlwind, we get an additional 2% damage, and then Frenzy, we get an additional 4% damage. I did not go over Frenzy. Frenzy is our base skill that I like to use. it's basically a single attack. I'll go over that in the next video more in depth, but it's a single attack, and then it allows us to go into a frenzy on our ultimate skill, where we can actually move, and we move faster, hit harder, and we can actually, instead of just a one hit, we can actually just one hit, and chain all these hits together. So it's a really, really fun skill for me personally in my playstyle. This build may not work for your playstyle, and that's fine. The Barb has it's kind of a Swiss Army knife. You can kind of do a lot of different things with the Barb. And then Treasure Hunter, because this is my overworld farming build, we're going to try to take advantage of the Treasure Hunter Paragon tree, so we can go ahead and get a bunch of, orbs, gold find, additional XP, all of that fun stuff. As far as the side pieces here, Awakener's Urge, which is a Vithu's Urges set, which is kind of one of the OP sets in the game. You can get 2-piece, 4-piece, and a 6-piece set. I'm working on getting a full 4-piece of Vithu's and Grace of the Flagellant. That way I can kind of modify, and depending on what area of the game I'm going into, you can modify these. The rings, we're here just for these main attributes at the moment, because once we get into Hell 4, which I am not currently farming in Hell 4, once we get into Hell 4, we can start, looking at getting actual set pieces. At this moment, we're just looking for actual, just raw stats. The hands are Feasting Barons pack. It was a triple on this with the best stats that I have, so that's why it's being used. It's literally just here for the stats. Open Gut is part of the Grace of the Flagellant set, which is really good for the Barb as well. This one also just happens to be the best stats that I have. All of these side pieces just happen to be the best stats that I have. And then Torn Soul, also part of the Grace of the Flagellant. So we are getting a 2-piece version of this, which all continual damage, channel damage, and persistent ground damage is increased by 15%. So we're actually getting a damage boost by having a 2-piece Grace of the Flagellant set on. So that's really kind of one of the cool things that we have here. I'll kind of hop out here from the armory. We'll go into the normal look here. So this is the way my Barb looks when I run around. You can kind of see stat wise, 4271 on damage, 57,436 on life. Barb does derive its damage from strength, so 438. I really want to pump that up as high as I can. I would love to have that way higher than like the fortitude and the vitality and everything like that, but we are fairly tanky as well, so those are also good things to have, because obviously if you're dead, you can't do damage, right? And then the combat rating is really big, especially kind of in the spot where I'm at, where I am looking at moving into Hell 4. I would like to have my combat rating up to about 3,200. That way I can really move into Hell 4, and I won't have to worry about being inside of a party when I'm in Hell 4. I can actually just move from mob to mob without any fear of, dying. It may take me a while to kill some stuff and kill the mobs, but I'll be able to do it by myself without having to be a backpack on somebody else. The other big one here is our resonance. Resonance definitely really helps on our damage and everything. I just got up to 1024 on my resonance today, so that was really a cool thing that I was able to do. And actually, yeah, that's pretty much the overview of the Barb that I run on my farm build. If you have any questions regarding the Barb, please leave them in the comments below. If you want to see anything specific, if you have a spot you want to see how a Barb farms that particular spot, definitely leave that in the comments below as well. Outside of that, guys, like I said, we're going to try to get 2 videos a week. And yeah, I'm JKG. If you like this video, please give a like. If you didn't like the video, if you didn't like me, that's cool, man. Give a dislike. I appreciate the feedback either way. Please hit that sub button. We're under 100 subs. I would love to get to a point where we're able to monetize this channel, and we're gonna go baby steps to that. So we're under 100 subs. Let's try to milestone it and hit 100 subs here. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.